takeovers, it seems to be this thing that rises and falls depending on if people get injured or killed. And it seems like that's popping up all over TikTok. Of course, TikTok is this young, exciting, rambunctious group of individuals that seem to have just as much emotion and opinion on anything controversial as 2003 YouTube comment sections, except before they actually started to filter out the words that you're not supposed to say on camera anymore. And today we're gonna be talking a little bit about why people seem to be defending what happened at H2OI, and also just what's the thing with street takeovers. So I'm Alex Martini with 2 underscores on Instagram. You're more than welcome to check me out if you want. And of course, if you're looking to get some handmade apparel or some different gifts, something that feels a little bit snug, a little bit different. Maybe you wanna get called daddy or mommy, I don't judge. Head on over to alexmartini.net or martiniworks.com, and you can actually check out all the apparel and stuff if you want to support the channel. If not, just, subscribe. I have cats too, and they're awesome, and they're little, and I rescue them, and I love them, and if you don't like cats, that's fine. But if you hate cats... Now, H2OI has a really rough history. It actually used to be a beautiful show. It's been around for quite a long time. And it was a European show, a European classic car show. It was awesome. People would go to it, spend the weekend. You'd see some magnificent builds, some beautiful cars. And over time, there was kind of like a nightlife. There was some activities that started to get a little bit more aggressive as the years went on. And one of the things that really started to happen in H2OI was a continued pressure from the police to stop the event from ever occurring, because people were doing illegal activities, usually all the time. And it became kind of like a divorced parent, where both of them were getting toxic and absolutely terrible at each other. You had car enthusiasts specifically going to cause as much as they possibly could, and then you have the police coming up with absolutely ridiculous laws so that people couldn't go there for that weekend. And there's a lot of information out there on why this happened, but regardless of the fact, H2OI was not an event that the city wanted hosted there anymore. And in fact, the actual event organizers originally moved away from that location so that they could have their event in peace. But people continued to go to the city where H2OI was hosted, and over time, it's just turned into this gigantic clusterfuck of mess. Now, this year, H2OI happened again. And with it, there was unfortunately a fatality. Now, I'm trying to not talk like a news reporter. I'm just trying to keep all my facts straight, because the comment section on TikTok is full of shit, okay? Because what happened is there's somebody that got hurt. There's somebody that got injured.
A number of people were hurt after what eyewitnesses describe a series of car crashes.
There's been accidental homicide, and I don't really want to jump into that because that's a super unfortunate situation. It's a terrible, terrible situation. But there's a lot of people now saying that H2OI is a street takeover, and I kind of want to shed a little clarity on that, okay? Because I got guys, all right, like Clap 2.3, that make a TikTok talking about him going to H2OI, all the burnouts and dumb crap that he wanted to do, getting pulled over, all that sort of good stuff. And then the very next video he posts is H2OI people ruining the car scene. Look, if you are talking about H2OI ruining the car scene and you are at the event participating in the activities, you're kind of a fucking hypocrite, homie. You gotta stop doing stuff like this, TikTok, because now I see everybody in the comment section losing their mind, saying, oh my God, I'm so glad you're calling it out. I'm so glad you're saying something about these takeovers. It needs to stop. You need to stop going if you want it to stop, okay? And you can't be participating in the activities if you don't want them to happen in the first place. One might say, you're clout chasing. And that's the thing that really does start to get a little weird for me here on TikTok, is because there's a lot of people talking about a very serious issue. Street takeovers are dangerous. They're inherently dangerous by the name, but they've been around for a long time. They've been around since, I don't know, the 80s, I think, or so. And it started and originated in places like Oakland. It started and originated, I believe it was in Eastmont Mall. You'd see it pop up all over the place. It's in pop culture, it's in R&B, it's in rap songs, all the way back in the 80s. It's not a new concept at all. Ghost riding, doing burnouts, and shutting down intersections was something that's been around forever. The difference between then and now is a lot of times these takeovers or sideshows is what they were called, particularly happened in parking lots, and they happened outside of clubs, places where people over the age of 21 couldn't get in, but they still wanted to party and be rambunctious and do illegal stuff. And so they did it in the parking lots of a lot of those prominent clubs. And you can trace back street takeovers or sideshows pretty much almost to the very location in which they were founded. Nowadays, you see street takeovers kind of hitting mainstream news everywhere because people are getting hurt. People go down, they shut down an intersection, they make it so nobody can go in or out, and a huge mob congregates there. People pull a car in, whether it's a Malibu, a 350Z, or some other random box, and they just do ghost riding. They do burnouts, they get excited, they scream and they yell. To say that street takeovers aren't a part of car culture probably isn't right, because street takeovers are a part of car culture. But just because something is a part of culture doesn't inherently mean that it's right. It just means that it's a thing and it's been around. The difference between then and now too is that sometimes people use the term street takeovers in the wrong way, because H2OI wasn't inherently a street takeover. It was a car show. It was a weekend event. It was adventure. It'd be close to Slam Enough Gatlinburg. It would be close enough to a weekend for Tuner Evo Chicago. It'd be comparable to going to Monterey Car Week if you're rich, all right? And you wear sweaters on your shoulders, okay? But even Monterey Car Week is starting to get in trouble because the younger generation is coming into that weekend and driving up and down the streets at 1,000,000 miles an hour and causing a bunch of damage. So is H2OI a street takeover? My old brain is saying no, it's not. Street takeovers are an action, it's an activity. It's when a group of people, typically like an organization, hosts it at a very specific spot, they lock it down, they make it so police can't get in there, and you get a mob mentality. What makes street takeovers so dangerous is the mob mentality of it. It's like riding a motorcycle. If anybody's ridden a motorcycle before, or you've been a part of a motorcycle group, you know exactly what I'm speaking on, because mob mentality in motorcycles is probably the most addictive and entertaining thing about riding in a group of motorcycles. It is crazy the amount of confidence you get when you realize that you're not like identifiable and that you can literally do whatever you want. And when there's 30 or 50 sport bikes in a row and one cop, there's no way that he's gonna be able to get you. And when you start to realize those things, sometimes you make bad calls because you think that you're better than the person that's trying to tell you to stop doing something. And that's what's happening right here. I mean, you have people talking about that takeovers need to stop, no questions asked, and I totally get it. But I also see people that talk about how is it different than street racing, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's still something dangerous. And the answer is well, it's all dangerous. It's all not inherently good for the perception of the car community. I mean, you can't say street takeovers are and then go on your local highway and run at 130 on 7 o'clock on a Friday when there's a town and country right next to you. It's the same thing. Then you get in the comment section. Beautiful place, beautiful landscape, all right? Farming level 91, because you can go in here and you can get some ripe, juicy, lovely comments. Ones with depth, ones that really show you that we are in for a treat, a positive experience for everyone around, that we are definitely heading down the right path of doing the things that we're passionate about. Macchiato, how are you doing this evening? Okay, you just hang out there, bro. Ant.jdm440, no tracks within 30 miles that are public, so I'm cool with watching scat spin at an intersection at 3 when no one's out. Ant.jdm440 is talking about his car being regular traffic. And instead of saying traffic with 2 Fs, it's only 1 F, okay? These are the people that you're arguing with on TikTok when you're talking about street takeovers being dangerous or not dangerous. But I think I've nailed why so many people are arguing both for and against it. And it's the mentality, it's the entitlement in this video. I want you to just watch this with me because I think this captures it really well. This is right after one of the incidents occurred at H2OI. Not gonna show anything that's sensitive, obviously, but I want you to listen to one of the individuals that's in the crowd. The cop is walking around. He's telling everybody to step back. He's trying to get everyone away from the scene. There's a traumatic experience occurring. Somebody's in medical danger. There's ambulances, there's police officers everywhere. Something terrible just occurred. And this is how that crowd is reacting to this information. Just wanted to set the stage, set the mood.
I see him right there. Back up. That's fucking horrible. Back up. How you gonna fucking say that's good? That's fucking trash. You're a fucking asshole. You put my... Right here. You fucking put your hands on my... Shut up. Walk up and move. It's okay. Get the fuck out. Go, man. Get the fuck out. Get out. Go ahead. Get out of here.
There are people surrounding this individual who's on a stretcher. There's police everywhere trying to understand what just happened. And for some reason during this time, as the police officer is telling everyone to get away, that is pushing people to get away because everybody's hovering over this situation right now, which by the way is terrible. This individual with a backwards cap and a camera on is getting angry at the police officer for doing that. So much so that he's causing a scene to state that what the cop did wasn't right. Even though the cop, without knowing where the camera's at, probably pushed him away and said, "Get back." Now, I have no care to talk about opinions of police. What I am talking about, though, is context. I'm talking about situational awareness. And the entitlement that this individual is like exhibiting in this video is what I think is currently so wrong in the younger car community group, or just enthusiasts in general, that don't seem to understand that the world doesn't revolve around them. This person is more upset that a cop told him to get away than the person that's laying on the ground because of an accident that happened at a car event weekend. The problem with takeovers is not really the takeover itself, in my opinion. They're bad, they're dangerous, I don't like them. People get hurt all the time. Accidents happen all the time. It's a lot of accidental damage that happens. It's people accidentally running into families. It's people accidentally hitting someone else and running into a bicycle or a golf cart or a car that's going home after a second shift work day. It's those situations that make street takeovers so dangerous. But because there's a mob mentality, nobody thinks that what they're doing is inherently wrong, because they're surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands of people that agree with them. When everybody agrees with you that's around you, you never think that you're wrong. And that's why a lot of times you could show me your friends and I'll tell you the type of cigarettes that they smoke. It's just a thing that you get to know. The problem here is that entitlement. And that is so wondrously apparent in the comment sections of people that are fighting, saying that takeovers aren't bad, street takeovers aren't bad. The name implies negativity. The name implies you're doing something you're not supposed to. And whether you want to take that risk or not is entirely up to you. I don't have to tell you that it's stupid or dumb or dangerous. Everyone already knows that. And I could tell you to go to a track, but everyone already knows that. The people that are doing this, they're not looking to go to a track. They're looking to just express themselves and do something dumb. The problem is, by doing something dumb, you are inherently endangering people that have absolutely no inclusion, that they have absolutely no reason to be involved with what you're doing at all. So if you want to do something stupid, sure, you can go to a track, spend $300 at Road America. Don't have that money? Maybe you should go spend $55 and go to an autocross event and go run your shit box around some cones, because they'll accept anything as long as it doesn't start on fire. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe turning the steering wheel with power steering is too tough, or maybe you think that that's just not for you, right? You're drifting. You want to do something equally exciting. Maybe go to a test and tune drag day where you can test and tune for $35 at a drag strip. But if you can't go to a racetrack, and you can't go to an autocross event, and you can't go to a drag strip event, and you can't play video games, and you can't do anything outside of finding an intersection to block up where regular people are just trying to get home, I have a really, really hard time believing that you're actually doing that because you're a car enthusiast, and you're not just doing that because you are anti-establishment. Maybe you're just an asshole. Maybe instead, go focus on doing something, if you really want to go do something stupid, out in the middle of nowhere. Something where nobody else can get hurt except for you. It's one of those things where everyone that's been in the car community has done something dumb. There is no one out there in the industry that hasn't done something that they probably shouldn't. And anybody that tells you they haven't is a liar. I've done it. You're probably watching this, have done it. Everyone's done something like that. The difference is, or what I would ask everyone to take a look at is, are you really only putting yourself in danger? I would always put it on a racetrack where it's probably the most dangerous out of everything, but at least you're doing it in a professional closed course. At least you're learning. At a drag strip, at least you're going fast in a straight line. In autocross, at least you're learning how to control your car. And if you're in a back Walmart parking lot at 10 o'clock and you really want to see what happens when you let go of the steering wheel, then at least make sure there's nobody around you. But when you purposely do this in a public intersection, you're just damaging yourself. And the people on TikTok that are defending the activity, they're just defending it because it's fun to do. They're just defending it because there's no accountability behind the username. You talking down to street takeovers, but then going to a street takeover, you're a hypocrite. It's easy to talk poorly about street takeovers because they're not the right thing to do. But neither is doing a burnout at a stoplight. Neither is street racing in the middle of the day. Neither is speeding on a highway. None of those things are inherently safe either, but people don't talk bad about it as much as they do street takeovers. It's not about which evil is the lesser evil of the group. They're all bad, right? They're all not things you're supposed to do. The difference that I would just challenge you to look at, if you're really wondering why street takeovers seem to be this controversial thing that is not getting smaller, it's only getting bigger, is because people enjoy the fact that there's no consequence to the actions that they have. And if you want any other examples of this, look at any massive group of motorcycles as they're going through any town. It's the same exact thing, and it'll probably never stop. So instead of trying to tell other people what they should or shouldn't do, it might be a better idea to just let it die. If you know street takeovers are happening, or you know that your friends are going, just don't go. Go prioritize something else. If that's really how strongly you feel about something, go past just making a 60-second video on TikTok and actually go do something else. Invite those people to go do something else. Try to get them out of that thing if you really do care that much about street takeovers. I'm not trying to say they're good. They're not. They're stupid. Big stupid. I've seen a lot of G35s at street takeovers. A lot of garbage, okay, at those things. You're gonna do a lot more by trying to convince people that are within your group to go do something else rather than just posting something on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, which is exactly what I'm doing. But the difference is I don't really participate in any of that stuff. I usually try to do my dumb stuff when the only person I can hurt is myself. Or I'm at a track, a drag day, or some sort of drift event. We're all human. We're all gonna do dangerous things every once in a while. But please, try to be conscious of the fact that there are families on the road. Try to be aware that there are people just trying to get home. Try not to just associate every accident that occurs at a car show weekend as a street takeover, because a lot of times that's how misinformation spreads, and a lot of times that's what causes a lot of this noise in the first place. I wish nothing but the best for any negative situation that happened this weekend, whether it was an accident, a street takeover, H2OY, or just another standard weekend in Oakland. But what it comes down to is the community needs to make an actionable change, not just talk about it. Or don't. So even though street takeovers are part of car culture, and even though they'll probably never go away, and even though it's easy to talk poorly and say you shouldn't go do them, you know people are still gonna go do them, right? I mean, it's a thing. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about you. And you can do something. You can choose to not participate. You can choose to not give it the attention that it solely needs. It's like a whiny middle child that's screaming at the top of his lungs to get the attention from mommy and daddy. That's street takeover culture. So by not giving it the attention, you're ultimately not giving it the very thing it needs to survive. And ultimately, it'll go away. Hopefully, maybe. Maybe not, but I'm gonna be a dumb driver. I'm gonna try and do it on a dumb track, okay? Because I still need to learn how to practice my apexes because I still suck. That's why I got a racing sim. But you guys let me know what you think about these takeovers and why you think TikTok seems to be so apt on defending the activity, if not anything else than because they don't have any consequence. They can say whatever they want because it's the internet. Welcome to 2006 again. It's like YouTube comments, man. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'm Alex, Alex.Martini with 2 underscores. We truly hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out Martini Works, the new brand coming out. And of course, we will see you later. Adios. Hey!